Foreign Affairs Minister, of course, convened a meeting of the Government Trade Forum to discuss the situation in the Middle East and other international developments. That meeting on Monday at Government Buildings was attended by the Tánaiste Simon Harris and a number of other ministers. Minister Helen McEntee updated them on a virtual meeting with other EU foreign ministers on Sunday night, during which they called for a de-escalation of the conflict. And just to give you an overview of what's been going on, because of course a very eventful from hour to hour, never mind day to day. So Israeli-US warplanes launched a fresh wave of strikes across Iran. The Iranian Red Crescent Society says more than 500 people have been killed since the conflict began. The Israeli Air Force said this morning it was attacking Tehran and Beirut simultaneously with extensive strikes against the Iranian regime and Hezbollah. The Israeli military issued new evacuation orders for dozens of locations in Lebanon earlier today. Hezbollah said it had launched drones at northern Israel. Iranian attacks were reported on oil infrastructure and other targets across a 2,000-kilometre swathe of the region, and casualties and destruction reported across, unfortunately, at least 9 countries. For more on this now, I'm joined by Hassan Famaraz, an Iranian national who is based in Ennis, and Niamh McNamara, a former Ennis resident and indeed a producer here at Clare FM, who's living in the United Arab Emirates. And thank you to both of you for being with me. Hassan, watching events unfold from here in Ireland, in Clare, what's your sense of what's happening in Iran right now following the killing of the Ayatollah, the supreme leader?
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Alan, and thank you for running a good show. Well, it's a mixed baggage. It's a combination of fear and hope, and tragedy and celebration all together going on. It feels like something surrealistic happening. Definitely a lot of people in Iran celebrated the death of the supreme leader, me included. Without him, the world is definitely a better place. But there are others who are mourning for the supreme leader. And I don't think killing the supreme leader will end this conflict, because there are layers of successors in the leadership, and also the military and paramilitary forces are shareholders of a lot of businesses, infrastructure, oil, roads, you just name it. So I don't think this will end the conflict, but the death of the supreme leader at least has given hope to millions of people. But again, I don't think militarism as a whole is the solution for the Iranian or any other country's conflict.
Yeah, Hassan, it seems people are either taking a black and white approach in this. You're either for what the US and Israel have done and against the Iranian regime, or vice versa, whereas I think it is possible to say, not be a fan of the regime in Iran, but also be displeased with how events have unfolded. In terms of what Donald Trump has said, he's called on Iranians to rise up against the government, and he has promised support. But he promised support during the recent uprising, and that support didn't come. So how realistic is that in the current climate inside Iran, that even with the Ayatollah gone and Trump urging Iranians to rise up against their government? I've heard reports of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps being on the streets and military with weapons just to really for a show of force. It seems that it might be easier said than done to rise up against the regime.
Yes, again, Trump, as you just said, Trump promised last night to come. We don't know how many people were killed. They were slaughtered. Some reports say over 40 or 50,000 people in 2 days were slaughtered. But Trump didn't show up, and other countries didn't show up. But for the moment, listen, I don't think Trump can fulfill his promises. Because, and he didn't promise any democracy or modern values, justice, freedom, this kind of thing. He said he is going for the nuclear capabilities, ballistic missiles, eliminate the Iranian proxies, and possible regime change, and that's up to the people. But for the moment, people don't have that leadership to come out and take over. We had that opportunity 3-4 years ago during the Women Life Freedom Revolution. The women came out. That was the most diverse, most peaceful, most inclusive movement in our history. But foreign powers didn't show up in time, and people were demolished again. The protests were demolished again.
Yeah, the opportunity
but for
was...
the moment...
I just want to bring in Niamh McNamara now, who is in the UAE. Niamh, we've heard the reports of blasts over Abu Dhabi and Dubai, missile and drone attacks targeting Gulf states. Can you give our listeners a sense of your experience of what that has been like, and particularly with casualties confirmed in the Gulf region, how safe you personally feel right now?
Good morning, Alan. It's quite a surreal feeling at the moment. It kind of kicked off on Saturday afternoon for us. We were out and about. It was about 3 p.m. and we heard some booming noises, very distant, but still you can almost feel them. And we went home and then found out that the Iranians were striking different targets. There's a couple of U.S. military bases here in the UAE and quite close to Dubai, but I didn't feel threatened. Somehow it was bizarre. They really do take their security seriously here, as any of your listeners or your team who visited here will know. It's a top priority for them, and they have a very sophisticated anti-missile system technology. So that was deployed, and the booms apparently were the sound of those missiles being intercepted. We were listening to them on Sunday as well, and actually saw something happening on Sunday in the sky as well. I don't think most of it is going on above the stratosphere, but but I think life is pretty normal here. We're working from home. I'm looking out at the roads now. It's busy. It's not as busy as normal, but I think life is going on.
The Irish government, Niamh, obviously advising citizens in the region to shelter in place. How are you feeling at the moment about the medium to long-term future there? Are you confident the situation will stabilise? Are you mulling over the possibility of leaving at some point if events continue?
No, I feel fine here for the moment. I'm not sure what the future holds. Obviously, it's in everyone's interest that this is over with quickly. In your Vox Pop, for example, people talking about oil prices, and obviously the thought of violence anywhere is really disturbing. So hopefully this will be over quickly. I'm not sure how long the UAE or where I live will be affected. I know that the airport is resuming operations today at 3 p.m. I'm sure there'll be a massive backlog. It's probably going to be carnage there for a while because of all the cancelled flights. But I think the tourists here, the people who've been stuck here, my heart goes out to them because that must have been very frightening. I know some hotels on the Palm evacuated residents on Sunday morning down to the car parks because of the debris that hit the Fairmont, which is a really iconic hotel here. So I do feel for tourists. I think anyone I speak to from Ireland, from England, Scotland, any of my friends here, they're all, none of them are thinking of having to leave or anything like that.
Okay.
But as you said, who knows what the future holds.
Yeah, events changing, as I said earlier on, hour to hour, never mind day to day. Niamh, thank you so much for joining us, and do stay safe. Thank you for your time this morning. Just before I let you go, Hassan, in terms of the leadership in Iran, we kind of touched on it a little earlier. There's reports of a temporary leadership council now in place. The Reza Pahlavi, Iran's exiled crown prince, of course, son of the deposed Shah, has been commenting a lot on this. He says that they're close to final victory and he wants to lead Iran. Is he a viable option?
No. 10 times no. He is one of the main reasons why there is no unity among the oppositions outside and inside Iran. Anytime there is a coalition, he jumps in and his followers are already chanting death to 2/3 of the population of the country. The 1979 has become a slogan against those who took part in the 1979 revolution. And they say death to those people who overthrew his father. Death to leftists, death to rightists, death to reformists, death to Mossaddeqists. They are chanting death to everybody here in the West, in democracy. They are not in power yet. And they want to kill 2/3 of the population. And I think to reach the goal, which is democracy for the people of Iran, both the religious and the royalty, the kingdom, should leave the domain of politics. As long as they are part of the politics, they prevent any coalition from happening, and they are basically hijacking people's revolution. There are thousands of people on the streets, but only a few people go take his picture up and take pictures, and they come and claim, with the help of media, of course, they claim everybody came for Pahlavi. But that's not true. So this man should leave politics. It feels like, Alan, let me put it this way. If 40 years down the road, some people from Syria come out and chant, we want the return of Bashar Assad's children to save us, would you be proud of those people? I wouldn't be proud of myself.
I don't think that'll go down well with normal Syrians, and I do think Pahlavi will be hanging around for some time yet. We do have to leave it there. My thanks to Hassan Famaraz and earlier on Niamh McNamara, based in the United Arab Emirates, for joining us on Morning Focus.